Yep. Damn. Damn, that's a bad way to get it started. How are y'all doing today? Welcome to episode 25 of the MMAHOLICS podcast. I'm your host, Antwane. Unfortunately, I couldn't have my boy Nikki today because he had to go to work this morning. But as you guys know, we have UFC Vegas 94 today. Amanda Lemos versus Verna Jandiroba. I think it's a decent card. Um, Always good to have some fights on a Saturday. Like I feel like as MMA fans, like we can be quick to of course, like we're spoiled when it comes to the most cards, most pay-per-views, but the UFC hasn't been given like the craziest cards lately. So I can definitely understand why this card is catching some flack, but at least we get a pay-per-view next Saturday. You feel me? And like it feels good to at least have some fights. And we also have the Jake Paul versus Mike Perry fight tonight as well. Probably give a prediction for that when I'm done with the UFC card. It's crazy to think that Mike Perry's actually about to fight that dude. I'm happy either way that he's gonna get paid. It's really cool to see Mike Perry really go on to make himself like I think he might damn near be a millionaire now with all those checks he's made off BKFC. So it's cool to see him actually like blow up and like he didn't give up when he got cut from the UFC. A lot of dudes fade into obscurity when they get cut from the UFC, and he wasn't one of them. He stayed consistent. He didn't give up. He knew he had a family. You feel me? And yeah, look at him. He's like the face of a whole franchise right now. But again, I want to thank y'all for joining. Really do appreciate y'all. Y'all already know you can feel free to comment. Always love having a conversation with you boys. And yeah, again, thank you for joining. We have, I think it's 11 fights on this card today. Just want to make sure as I pull up this topology. And yep, 11 fights. Of course, we're at the Apex today. It's really unfortunate. And I was talking to my friends on another podcast like a week ago, and I asked them like, "Do you think we'll ever like never have to use the Apex ever again?" And I think that like it just saves them so much money that like I think they'll refuse to do anything else when it comes to these kind of fight nights. And I get it, because certain fight nights are definitely like made like certain fight nights are made for arenas and stuff like that. Because of course, with what pre-pandemic, like we used to have, like every fight night had an arena it was in. It wouldn't matter if it was like Holly Holm versus like like whoever. You feel me? Like it would always have an arena. But it is what it is. Like I said from the very beginning, at least we got some fights today. Even though we're back in Dana's dungeon, you feel me? And also I did want to give my reaction to the Donald Trump situation. Y'all, that shit was crazy. That was crazy to think like, just a regular 20-year-old was like this close, like literally this close, to taking out a former president and a presidential candidate like that. It's crazy to see. Like crazy to think about that, like, in an alternate universe somewhere, Donald Trump is like he got assassinated, like that would have been crazy if like and then like it is what happened on like a random day, and like it's crazy to honestly think about that. But yeah, I just wanted to give my reaction on that. I'm happy he's still alive. He has kids and stuff like that, outside of the politics stuff, just saying he has a family and stuff like that, and I don't ever want anyone to lose their father, obviously, and like he's a father first, you feel me, before he is a politician and all that. So crazy he survived that, you feel me. That was pretty crazy. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna get to the fight now for you boys. Again, it's a decent fight card. In the first fight of the night, it is a heavyweight matchup. We got Muhammad Usman versus Thomas Peterson. Now, of course, Mo Usman doesn't really have like the best reputation amongst the fans. You feel me? Of course, he is related to the legendary Kamaru Usman, and a lot of people feel like he rides the momentum of his brother. When he came in on the Ultimate Fighter, but he's won his own fights. Like when he knocked out Zach Palga. He beat Junior Tafa. Of course, I think that was the situation where I think Junior Tafa took that on a day's notice. I want to give a shout out to my boy Better MMA. Thank you so much for joining me, brother. Always love talking to you in the chats that I'm always in. And thank you so much for joining, man. I really do appreciate it. We're just getting started, so you joined at a very good time, man. Most definitely. And yeah, I was gonna say, I think when Muhammad Usman fought Junior Tafa, I think that was the day where he took it on a day's notice for his brother. Or if that, or nah, I think that might have been another fight actually, because I think Junior might have taken that fight in Australia. Not even to get sidetracked or nothing like that. That was just like a crazy situation. Yeah. Nah, that was the DeLima fight. Yeah. When he lost to DeLima, that's what it was, the leg kick. So yeah, but again, like, what do we know about Muhammad Usman? You know, he has decent power, obviously. He's a decent wrestler. He was a former football player, so he will be a natural athlete. You feel me? I think really the only thing with Muhammad has always been like his technique. You feel me? Obviously, you know, he came in at MMA at a later age and stuff like that. Even when before he even made it to like the UFC in the Ultimate Fighter, he's only been fighting since 2017. And he in his first 3 fights, he won by way of finish, 2 via Kimura and 1 via punches. So I think from the very beginning, he was definitely showing that, like, you know, he'd be a fast learner and be able to adapt fairly quickly in the UFC. And yeah, again, like, you know, he doesn't have the craziest skill set, but he is very athletic. I do think he's very strong when he does get the clinch going, when he does start the grapple initiations. And yeah, we've seen him get knockouts, and he's coming out to this next fight, coming off a loss. You feel me? 3 months ago, actually, which I thought that was a little bit further back, when he lost to Mick Parkin like that. And yeah, Mick Parkin's undefeated. You feel me? So he's a good fighter. We know that for sure. And yeah, we're gonna see if he can rebound against Thomas Peterson. Speaking of Thomas Peterson, this dude's coming off a loss to Jamal Pogues. I think just Pogues really had like the striking advantage in that fight, and he kind of showed like some surprising athleticism from Jamal Pogues. You feel me? Definitely was able like to stay on the outside. I thought he had some good teep kicks in that fight. Decent kickboxing combinations for sure. And with Peterson, I mean, yeah, he's 8-2. He's 29 years old. And before he lost to Jamal Pogues, he had won 3 fights in a row, 2 in LFA, and when he beat Chandler Cole on Contender Series, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Chandler Cole's that short heavyweight that was on Tough. So I don't know if he could really take too much away from that. Of course, he's a martial artist, you know, and he landed a pretty crazy spinning head kick on Jordan Heiderman on that on that season. But I just think, like, you know, in like the grand scheme of heavyweight, he wasn't gonna beat that many high level heavyweights. And yeah, but Thomas Peterson beat Chandler Cole, so I don't think you can take too much away from that one. And Richard Foster was 6-4 when he beat him, and Corey Mogenberg was 2-3. So this guy has not beat the best competition like at all. So you could definitely say Mohammed has fought the better competition. And yeah, man, I'm not gonna keep y'all long. I'm probably gonna go with Muhammad Usman in this matchup. I do think he can do. I do think he can win by decision. I think in the exchange this will be more powerful. He'll be a little bit more aggressive, knowing that he lost that last fight, and especially with his brother in his corner. I do think Kamaru is definitely gonna have a big impact on his training camp and on his performance. Really, like, be really attentive with him, like, round after round, if he doesn't come out that first round really aggressive and stuff. So I do think that he can come out here and get the victory. 1 minute, just wanted to share this link right quick. But yeah, like I said, though, we'll see what Muhammad does after this. I can't really tell you what I think his ceiling is at heavyweight. But me personally, I think, you know, like, we'll see what happens. You feel me? I'll just say that, like, we'll see what happens. You feel me? And but yeah, moving on though, Luana Carolina versus Lucy Pudilova. Yeah, Luana, she's still fighting, man. I remember when she got knocked out with that devastating spinning elbow by Molly McCann. That was very unfortunate at that UFC London. And after that, she lost to Joanne Wood, and that's definitely not a good loss to have, in my opinion. Not right now in her career. You feel me? And in case you boys are betting, my boy Better MMA just said Usman is a lock. You feel me? Also, y'all boys go subscribe to him. He's a really chill dude. Like I said, that's my friend for sure. And definitely go subscribe to homie. He's really cool. Always chill. And yeah, man. Like so for Luana Carolina, she's coming off a win over Julia Stordarenko, which I do think is a pretty good win. She beat Ivana Petrovic, took her O. That girl that was coming out of Aries, I believe. She made her debut. I don't think she's fought since then. Ivana Petrovic. Checking her tappy. Yeah, she did. She beat Na Liang. But Na Liang, she was like 1-5. And yeah, she was 0-4 in the UFC. So you can't really take too much away from that. You feel me? So Luana's just beating decent competition, on her bounce back fights. And I believe she missed weight actually. Yeah. She had missed weight versus Storlienko. So that's definitely not a good look. You feel me? But like I said, the Joanne Wood loss is definitely not a good look, and she lost to Molly McCann. And obviously, Molly McCann definitely doesn't beat the upper echelon flyweight, so definitely not really beating the best competition as of late. But yeah, Pudilova, what can we say about her? Lucy Pudilova, she's 14-9 right now. She's 3-7 inside the UFC. Definitely, I think she's a little better than her record indicates for sure. I think some of those fights definitely could have gone her way. You feel me? But she is coming off 2 losses to Jocelyn Edwards and Aylin Perez. I think some people definitely thought Edwards had won that fight because it was a split indeed. But either way, coming off the Aylin Perez loss, like that definitely showed her hole in the grappling, you feel me? In her gas tank as well. I do think she slowed down by the second round rather quickly. But before that though, she was on a 3-fight winning streak. 2 wins coming my way in Octagon. Want to give a shout out to my boy Baby Sharp MMA. Y'all please go subscribe to Baby Sharp. They do content as well, and he's a really nice dude as well. Always got chill dudes around me, so y'all will like the positive energy they give off. You feel me? And definitely go subscribe to Baby Sharp for sure. What's up, bro? Thank you for joining me. And yeah, man. Like I said, Pudilova's 3-7, but in terms of her career, though, she does have 3 wins by knockout, 2 wins via submission, and she has 8 losses via decision. She's never been knocked out, so she is fairly durable. Very tough woman indeed. Like I said, I think she is more of just I don't want to say point fighter, not like that. And of course, bro, no problem at all, bro. I mean every word, homie, most definitely. And yeah, yo, she has 3 wins via KO and 9 wins via decision. So I definitely think she's more of a point fighting kind of style. So I think her route to victory will be decision. But if I'm going to who I'm picking in this fight, if I think they're gonna play out on the feet, I'm gonna pick the person who I think's the better striker, and she has the reach advantage. You feel me? Don't get me wrong. Even with Luana winning 2 in a row, according to Topology, this is a pick'em fight. You feel me? So it could literally go either way. You feel me? They're only 1 year apart in age, and wow, excuse me. And while Luana Carolina might have the reach advantage, she's the shorter fighter by 2 inches. So, take that for what you will. You feel me? But for me, I was going to go with Carolina in this fight. I hope she's improved her takedown defense. You feel me? I do think Pudilova will try to mix it up with her when she does run into issues on the feet. And that's me personally. And yeah, man, again, it's a decent fight. But this next one is pretty hard. I want to take this comment from my boy Baby Sharp right quick. He said, biggest public upset possibilities, I think, after weigh-ins would be Usman loss or Garcia loss. Yeah, the boy Better MMA also said that Usman was a lock, you feel me? So, great minds think alike, you feel me? Nah, it's crazy though. We'll see what happens. And I actually never got a chance to catch the weigh-ins. Like I was so busy at work. I actually, speaking of work, I actually have work at 2 p.m., y'all, and that's 12:46 for me right now. So I'm gonna speed this up just a tiny bit for y'all. Going to the next fight of the night, Loic Radzhabov versus Trey Ogden. This is a really, really close fight. I'm not gonna lie to you. And when I was normally, like, the picks just come to my head rather quickly after doing research and film and things of that nature. But right when I was about to say Loic, I was like, because I was like, man, but like, Loic's coming off a great win over Abdul Karim Al Sawadi, but like, a lot of people feel like Al Sawadi might not be like that high level of competition. You feel me? And I do think that Loic is a good fighter. I do think he does have good wrestling, good striking. He has a decent gas tank. He has 5 wins via decision. Hey, what's up, my boy? What's up, Rico? What's up, man? Thank you so much for joining, man. Always. Yeah, bro. Like, yeah, no spoilers, no spoilers. I want to thank Lane for joining me. Nice to see you today, Lane. Thank you so much for joining me. Always love talking to you in the chats, most definitely. And like, yeah, don't feel bad. I've been trying to be more consistent with my channel. Me and Nikki both. We have a lot of stuff that we're planning. No exaggeration, like you will see. But like, yeah, I've been so busy, with my job and stuff like that. So I'm always just trying to definitely go live and definitely say what's up to y'all for sure. And like, yeah, y'all go subscribe to Rico. He's a very, very, very good YouTuber in my opinion. He's almost at like 15,000 subscribers. So like, yeah, he's definitely a good YouTuber. One of my cool friends on here, one of my great friends, most definitely. Always chill, always positive, like my other homies, bro. So I always love having him in here. And yeah, man, and I love how he sticks on his word with his opinions. I really love that, bro. Because like that's how like you really like separate yourself and like you really stand firm and like especially because you back it up with facts, bro. So most definitely, absolutely. Most definitely, of course, bro. God bless you too, bro. God bless all of y'all. Thank you so much for joining me, man, and congratulations on your success. Most definitely, like you're staying up late, editing videos, doing all of that. Got to give you your credit for your hard work. You feel me? Most definitely, and yeah, bro. Like moving on. I will go ahead and let me talk about Trey Ogden first before I get to the pick. But yeah, Ogden's good, man. It's pretty crazy. He's never won a fight via knockout, like loss or like winning or losing. So he's a relatively safe fighter. I think that means he just has really good defense. You feel me? I think he's pretty hard to hit. We saw the problems that he gave the really bright prospect Daniel Zellhuber in his debut. I get it. Zellhuber definitely could have had like some jitters, but I do think that with Ogden's pressure, taking him down, like really forcing the grappling and like really trying to nullify that reach advantage from Zellhuber, that just shows the smart fighter that Trey Ogden is with his fight IQ. The Ignacio Bahamondes loss wasn't. That was a sparring session. It's not like he got picked apart, and then like they were both just like striking, and Ignacio just landed a tiny bit more volume and like the flashier strikes, you could say. You feel me? And again, like he was beating Nicholas Mata before the ref had stopped it, and it was like that was just. I just suck, man, because like like these fight, like man, you train so long, we're at training camp, bro. Like you pay all this money to your coaches, and then like it just gets taken away from you, like just like that. You feel me? Like that was really sad, bro. But he bounced back with a win over Kurt Hollowbach. You feel me? So and coming into this fight, he's fighting Loic, so he is 2-2 on paper. But I do think he's fighting. He could be like on a. Yeah, like he could be 3-2 if the Mata stuff never happened. And like the Jordan Levitt loss, that was a split decision, so that could have gone the other way. So he really could damn near be like 4-1 in the UFC. I do think that Trey Ogden is a good fighter, Samurai Ghost. And this is a close fight, man. I'm not gonna lie. It is a very close fight, but I was leaning Trey Ogden. I just liked his gas tank. I like his defense a lot. He has the reach advantage in this fight. I really do favor that a lot, especially with how he likes to keep his jab going with his forward pressure, and I think he's made for his style. He could go all 3 rounds, either striking or wrestling. And he has a solid chin, as we can tell. He might not have, power like that, but definitely has good defense for sure. I want to give a shout out to my boy Pick'em MMA, one of my really, really good friends, bro. Always going live, always saying what's up to the homies, and y'all definitely go subscribe to him. He's super consistent. Just like the other boys in here, Better MMA, Baby Sharp, Rigo, you feel me? So definitely go subscribe, most definitely. And Lane is feeling what I'm saying as well. You feel me? I was gonna go with Trey Ogden. Yeah, and like I said, like the striking, the wrestling, and he has a really good gas tank in the defense as well. I do think that he can just win off the defense and like the grappling alone, low key. And going to the next fight, Miranda Maverick versus Dion Barbosa. Of course, Miranda Maverick, she was supposed to fight Tracy Cortez, on the UFC Denver card. But unfortunately, Macy Barber had to pull out, and that elevated Cortez to the main event. And then we saw her face Rose Namajunas. So now we got Miranda Maverick still trying to get her money, trying to get her bag. She's 27 years old. She came in at 23, I think. It's crazy, like how we can see these fighters be on the roster for 4 years just like that. She's 6-3 inside the UFC. Could be 7-2 because some people thought she beat Macy Barber. I mean, I remember watching it. I remember Macy landing that elbow at the end of the fight, but I don't know if that should have like stole the fight. I thought Miranda had a lot of good cage control, and she landed some good strikes herself, some decent leg kicks. But yeah, speaking of Miranda's skill set, like I said, she's a decent wrestler. Not decent. I think she's fairly good. I won't say this. She has 7 wins via submission. She has 5 losses via decision. So that's, she has a really good chin. She's never been knocked out or submitted. So she is a very polished fighter. Only has 1 win via KO. I think it was the doctor stoppage over Liana Jojua. Yeah. When she landed a crazy elbow and Liana's like it was crazy to see like the gash like start to bleed like that. It was like when Armin Sarukian elbow Joel Alvarez. It kind of reminded me of that, literally. But yeah, she's coming off 2 wins over Andrea Lee and Priscilla Cachoeira. The Lee win, it definitely doesn't look too good. Seeing Andrea Lee's on like a 5-fight losing streak right now. Andrea's 5-8 now. I think she's 35. So we'll see if the UFC give her another one. We haven't seen anything on Roster Watch about her getting cut, so they might give her another one, but we'll definitely see what happens. And yeah, if y'all want some insight, Lane is saying that they did look good on the scale yesterday, so I do feel you on that, Lane. I guess Lane is definitely leaning Barbosa, which I get it. I definitely think she's a solid underdog for sure. And talking about Dion Barbosa, gotta give her some respect. She has 3 wins via submission, 4 wins via decision. She's never been submitted, but she has been finished. It happened at Katana Fight 10. Back on December 7th, 2019, when she got finished by Josiane Nunes. So you can't really take too much away from that. That girl has bricks in her hands, you feel me? So I definitely think that definitely played a role for sure. And after that, she lost to Jenna Bishop, who is in the PFL. She's 7-1. And she's 38, but Jenna Bishop is definitely a pretty decent fighter for sure. And yeah, outside of that, she's on a 4-fight win streak right now. I do feel, Lane, it definitely might be the over for sure. Neither of these girls have the craziest power, so I do think it probably will go to a decision. So at that point, it's about like who's gonna look good over the 3 rounds, you feel me? And yeah, man, talking about Diani, her last 4 wins, she got a submission with an armbar on Contender Series. And she beat Ernesta back at UFC 301, and before that, she won two decisions. So we know she has good gas tank, can go 3 rounds, and she can't get the finishes with the submissions. You feel me? But for this fight, I know that it says Dion Barbosa is a plus 185 underdog. I do think it might be a little bit of a closer fight than that. But yo, yo, yo. I was gonna go with Miranda Maverick in this fight. I do see why Lane would want to pick Dion Barbosa, especially because she looked good on the scale yesterday. You know, like Dean Barbosa's 32, while Miranda's 27. So I know like because you know she doesn't have more experience, but you know like she might have like grown women's strength or whatever. And yeah, you know she's taller. She has the reach advantage over Miranda Maverick, and she's the one on a 4-fight win streak, so she does have a lot of momentum. I see why Lane would go that way. I'm just going with Miranda because, like I said, I think it's about who's going to look the best over the 3 rounds. And like I said, she's a very polished fighter, has never been knocked out or submitted. And she has 7 wins via submission herself. And I do think she's very, very strong in the clinch and in the wrestling. For real. So I do think it will be a close fight. And yeah, just like Lane said, I do see why. You know, why they would go. I mean, like, yeah, why you would Lane for sure, you know. Like being taller and longer. I think it's gonna be a close fight though, for sure. And like, yeah, and Baby Sharp agrees with Lane. They both did look good on the scale. And Barbosa is definitely taller. We've seen how Miranda Maverick has dealt with taller girls, like when she fought Jasmine Jastovicius. And like, you know, that was one of like, you know, that was a bad night for her, you know. But I do think that like I think she might have broken her orbital in like early in the first round or something like that. And this might be, yeah, I think, hold on. Is it a short notice fight? Hold on. I think it might be because I know Miranda again. Oh, you're talking about, yeah, because the Cortez situation. Yeah. You could say that. Yeah, she did make weight. But who knows? She might have to cut weight in dramatic fashion. But we'll see what happens though. I was gonna go with Maverick in this fight. Going into this next one, almost to the main card. Yeah, it's not that many fights on this card. Brian Kelleher versus Cody Gibson. Now I feel for both dudes in this matchup. You feel me? Starting out with Brian Kelleher, boom Kelleher. He's lost 3 in a row. He's 8-8 in the UFC. He has 8 wins via KO. He has 10 wins via submission. And 6 wins via decision. But he does have 8 losses via sub, five losses via decision, and he's been knocked out twice. One of the knockouts came literally in his last fight, and that was pretty crazy to see. You know, like especially with the way Cody dropped him, and like, yeah, like that was just crazy. You feel me? Like how he was sleeping on like the canvas, and like that was wild. You feel me? But you know, before that, he did get submitted by Mario Bautista, and he lost to Umar Nurmagomedov. You can't take too much away from those 2 losses. Both those guys are really bright prospects. So I do think that Kelleher, you know, you got to cut him some slack in those. You feel me? He also fought in Bellator from 2011 to 2013. I didn't know that. He went 0-2 during his time in the promotion, but you know he still fought. You feel me? And yeah, and like you know, before that, he got 2 wins over Kevin Kroom, who's not on the roster anymore, and Domingo Pilarde. You definitely can't take too much away from those. You feel me? So I don't think he has a win over. I mean, he has one over Ode Osborne. I don't know if he's still on the roster or not. Ode Osborne, he's not. Oh wait, no, yeah, he is. My bad. I read the card wrong. He's fighting. It literally says UFC 306. Riyadh season Noche UFC. That's what it says on Tapology. I thought it was a whole different promotion. My bad. But yeah, so he does have a win over someone on the roster, Ode Osborne. And yeah, man, Brian Kelleher again, he's coming out here fighting Cody Gibson. And Gibson, man, the Renegade, like he's 1-5 in the UFC, but I think he's better than his record indicates, man. And I do think that when like he lost to Miles Johns, like that was just him. Like I think he gassed out in that. Unfortunately, I feel like that's always been the problem for Cody Gibson. It's maybe like his gas tank when he fought Brad Katona. That was the problem too. He had got a little tired near the end of the fight. You feel me? But that was a crazy fight, almost like shades of Forrest Griffin versus Stephen Bonner because it was the Ultimate Fighter finale. But Cody Gibson is a good fighter. I think he has decent striking, decent wrestling. He has 7 wins via KO, never been knocked out. So he still has a great chin. He has 4 wins via sub, and he has 8 wins via decision. So he can go 3 good rounds and, win via striking. He can knock you out or submit you. And for me, because I got to speed up a little bit because I got to go to work later, I was going to go with Cody Gibson in this fight. Better MMA's feeling the same way as me. I was going to go with Cody Gibson. I like his height advantage and his reach advantage in this fight. 71-inch reach to 64 and 5'10 to 5'6. And I get it, like, hard and high, some people choose hard over height. But I think with Cody Gibson, he knows how to really use his reach. He's really good at it because, 7 wins be a knockout. And he's never been knocked out. So I do think he will replicate the same result from the Cody Garbrandt. That's crazy to get knocked out by 2 Codys. I was going to go with Cody Gibson, my second round knockout. I think it'll be a fun fight in the first round. You feel me? But I think he will clip him near the end of the round maybe. And Brian Kelleher might not be able to recover coming out the second round and then knockout. You feel me? And yeah, going to the main card. Again, I want to thank all y'all for joining me on this card this afternoon. Baby Sharp is going, Gibson too. You feel me? Yeah, like, yo, and again, I missed the weigh-ins, unfortunately. I was at work that night. I should have watched him before I hopped on here. I'm sorry about that, y'all. Yeah, man. Yeah, like I just yeah, for real, listening to Cody's for real. And yeah, man, and like for real, I really hope Cody Gibson wins, man. Like, unlike some out of the cage stuff, I don't want his kids to see that he fought in the UFC some years from now and they oh man, like, how'd it go? Like, like, y'all, man, daddy, like, how'd it go? Stuff like that. And like, they tell him like, oh, like he has to say that it didn't go that good for him, like stepping out and only winning 1 time, and you're doing all those training camps, and every result you're not getting your hand raised, like that's crazy, So I really want him because I think he'll probably get a new contract if he wins this fight too. He's a fun fighter, and they like that. You feel me? And I think they like Cody. I think they like Gibson. This is like his second chance in the UFC, so I do think they like him. And for the sake of his story, being a teacher, all that. I don't know if I've ever seen the movie Warrior with Tom Hardy. And like I think Joel Edgerton, like that is one of my favorite movies with the brothers that fought in MMA. And like, yeah, like, and one of the brothers was a teacher. So like, yeah, he was a math teacher. So I really do hope that Cody Gibson wins, man, like for real. And yeah, man, going to this next fight, Hyder Amil versus Jin Yong Lee. This is a pretty close fight. Hyder Amil is 9-0. He's coming in as the underdog, though, fighting out of San Francisco. He's 34 years old. Looks pretty young, though. It's pretty funny. Not only 34 is old or anything like that, but for sure. And yeah, Lane has seen it too, and that's a phenomenal movie for you. For those of you who have not seen Warrior, please go see that movie for sure. And yeah, so for Hyder Amil, who's coming off the win over Fernie Garcia. Fernie Garcia, I think he went like 0-3 inside the UFC or something like that. I don't think he managed to get a W. I know he won on Contender Series. Yeah, he went 0-4. Fernie Garcia did. And, I'm wishing the best for Fernie Garcia. I checked his Tapology. He doesn't have a fight listed yet, like another fight coming up. But I hope he continues. He's still a young dude. And yeah, so in terms of Hyder's career, he does have 5 wins via KO, 3 wins not 1 win via sub, and 3 wins via decision. Never lost by any of the methods. He's never lost, period. So, of course, and he came in like, yeah, he fought 2017, 2018, 2019. He's been fairly active throughout his career. He just came in at a later age, I guess you could say. On his debut, he was 27 back in 2017 when he made his debut. So, definitely, I feel like he's trying his best to stay active now at this stage in his career. This is his second UFC outing, and we're going to see that tonight, you feel me? I'm pretty excited to watch him fight, actually. I think he's a pretty decent fighter. I would call him a prospect, even though he's 34. I think primes are different in MMA, especially for a dude that doesn't have that many fights and stuff like that. I do think, like, it will be different for him as he ages and gets older and stuff like that. So I do think he's a good prospect, I will say. And he's fighting Ji Young Lee, who's another good prospect. Definitely prospect because he's a 28-year-old. You feel me? He's 11-1, undefeated inside the UFC. Like I always say, I mean, at least like for those of y'all that have never heard me say this, you feel me? I always think that like say a fighter comes into the UFC at like 12-2, right? And they make their record 17-2. Like for me, in my eyes, they're like undefeated. Now, of course, they're not in reality, but I always count the UFC record because you're fighting the best competition now. Like Paddy Pimblett, who we're gonna see fight next Saturday. You feel me? He came into the UFC like 16-3, and now Paddy's like 22-3. Like that, it's crazy to see him get his record up there. And you see he hasn't really like burnt the brunt of losing and stuff. Of course, he favorable matchups, what have you. But it's cool to see that he still has that. I mean, I was gonna say aura, but some people don't like Paddy. But I feel like that's only because he was fighting in America. When Paddy fights in Manchester this time around, I think, and especially if it's a fun fight, like he gets dropped and fights back, but he gets the win, so he goes through adversity and stuff like that. I think he'll get some fans next Saturday night. And that walkout's going to be legendary in Manchester. Especially I think that's the first time they're going to the Co-op Arena too. So it's most definitely going to have like something in the air that night, especially because that's a stacked card. I was telling my homie UFC 304. It's like the UK UFC 300, like literally, like for real. But yeah, like again, like Jion Lee, like he's a good fighter. You feel me? He's 2-0 inside the UFC. And yeah, he's a 5'10" featherweight. So fairly athletic fighter, has a lot of momentum right now. So I do think his momentum will match up Hyder Mills, winning as many fights in a row as he has. And damn, I don't think I really made a pick before I went live for this. So I'm probably gonna make this pick live. You feel me? Damn, man, I'm gonna go with Lee, bro. I'm gonna go with Lee, man. I really like the momentum that he's on right now. I think he's a fairly athletic fighter, fast fighter. He's never been knocked out or submitted himself. So this will be an extremely competitive matchup, in my opinion. And I'm gonna go with Lee. And I get it; he's not undefeated. He does have a loss, but that came back in 2017 when he was mad young. He was 21 when he lost that, and he looks like a completely different fighter now, especially with all the momentum that he's on. So I was gonna go with Lee in this matchup. And it's who knows, man. Hyder Emil might lose his O tonight, but he could win. You feel me? Yeah. So Better is going with Lee as well because he said Hyder doesn't have the best takedown defense. You feel me? And Lane, talking about the weigh-ins, I did not get to, unfortunately. As soon as this is over, now I gotta be changing picks or whatever. I will go watch the weigh-ins most definitely. I knew I had to rush to get this out because I got work at 2. Yeah. Nah. Again, like it's a close fight. Like I said, a plus 155 underdog. Like that's good money for those that are picking Hyder Emil. And he's undefeated. Like he's never tasted defeat ever. That means that gives him a different confidence that most men do not have inside the UFC. So we're gonna see what happens. You feel me? But going to this next fight, Dooho Choi versus Bill Algeo. I'm gonna speed up a little bit, guys. I kind of leave in a second. Dooho Choi versus Bill Algeo. Man, Korean Superboy coming off. He's lost 3 in a row, and then he had a draw with Kyle Nelson one night. It was like a majority decision. Yeah, it was a draw or whatever. And lawyers are being contact. Yeah, y'all are killing me today. Y'all are hilarious, bro. Most definitely, for sure. And I feel you, Lane. Like, yo, that's a great dog pick. Like I said, great value, and that's probably the most competitive fight on the card. You could say, in my opinion, I do think that is like coin flip, most definitely. And yeah, man, with Dooku Choi, it's really unfortunate. This dude hasn't won a fight in 8 years. Last time he fought, he was 13-1. I mean, he was 13-1 the last time he got a win, and then he lost 3 in a row. Of course, he got the draw with Kyle Nelson, and this guy had a lot of hype. Dooku Choi, he is a UFC Hall of Famer, of course. For his fight with Cub Swanson at UFC 206. You feel me? He's a good striker, decent grappling, decent wrestler. I think it's his gas tank might be a little bit of an issue. I do think he does slow down in the matchups. And for Bill Algeo, he's a good wrestler. Yeah. Bill Algeo is a good wrestler. In my opinion, I think he's a really good grappler. I don't know what happened in that Kyle Nelson fight. I mean, Kyle Nelson's a good fighter for sure. I mean, I think he's showing that he's a good fighter. But I think that this was just like, I can't really tell you what happened. You feel me? Like he got knocked out, obviously, but I mean, I think it was just like the game plan and stuff like that. You feel me? So we'll see what happens with Kyle Nelson. But yeah, I mean, I do think he's still a good fighter for sure. Yeah, Kyle Nelson. I mean, before that, he beat Alexander Hernandez and he beat T.J. Brown. Of course, can't really take too much away from both of those. He lost to Andre Feely, who we just saw get a win over Cub Swanson. So mentioned Cub Swanson twice in this fight. It's funny. And like, yeah, he's fighting out of King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. I've never been there before, but that sounds pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. And yeah, so this is a close fight in my opinion. Dooku Choi versus Bill Algeo. According to Tapology, Algeo has 73% to Choi's 27%. For me, man, I just don't know where Dooku Choi mentally is after like the run that he's been on. It's pretty crazy, man. Like, you haven't felt like, I'm not even talking shit. Like, I would never talk shit on fighters. Like, but it's just like, to not feel that like that's just, like in 8 years, that's crazy. Getting your hand raised, like, because that happening signifies so much for them, like the paychecks and like all that. You feel me? So, in this fight, man, like it's. Because, like, man, I don't know why Bill Algeo was coming back so quick after getting knocked out like that, bro. I get it. It wasn't like a flash KO. But still, it was his first ever loss via TKO. So I will cut him some slack for sure. Man. And, like, yo, there's some people picking Choi in this matchup. You feel me? I do think it is a closer fight than people think, bro. Man, I'm really... Yo, it's a close fight, man. I'm not gonna hold you, but of course I can't stay too long. Anything can happen in a fight, y'all. We can break down the fights for an hour and like anything happened. You feel me? Like, I could say whatever, and like somebody go in there, slip, and and just get knocked out or whatever. You feel me? So, for this, I was gonna go with Senior Perfecto in this matchup. I was gonna go with Bill Algeo. I think he can. I think he can get the wrestling. I think he can get the takedowns. I think he plays it safe in this matchup, knowing the threat that Dooku Choi has, and like coming off a loss in his last, his last matchup, and like his first ever time he TKO. So I think his chin is still pretty good, and I think he'll have more confidence than Dooku Choi coming into this matchup. I could see why the boys in the chat. My boys and gals in the chat are picking Dooku Choi. He's still a devastating striker, and he's still young at 33 years old. He could come back and make a run, but Algeo himself has the reach advantage, and he's taller, and I think he's going to play it safe. I think he's shooting straight for takedowns this fight, so I was going to go with Bill Algeo in this matchup. Moving on, Durden versus Bruno Silva. So it's pretty crazy. Cody Durden fights out of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. These walls right here. This is where I live right now. Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. He's still training in American Top Team Atlanta. That's like, I've checked it. It's like a 15-minute drive from where I stay. It's pretty crazy. Um, and and man, like for Cody Durden, this is a literally a -110, -110. Cody Durden did get submitted in his last fight. Bruno Silva's coming on a 3-fight win streak. Um, damn man, and he knocked out. He submitted Tyson Nam. He knocked out Victor Rodriguez and knocked out JP Bays. So I don't think you really take too much away from those. Excuse me, in my opinion. Before that, he also lost to Dagir Ukimbalov, who Cody Durden lost to. And he lost to David Dvorak, who's not even on the roster anymore, I don't think. You feel me? So, or like not ranked anymore. So this is a close fight. To describe both fighters, so I can speed it up. Cody Durden, like they both do have good wrestling. I think Cody has decent boxing. Out of his career, he does have 6 wins via KO. So I think he does have decent boxing. He's never been knocked out. Not Dooh Choi. Cody Durden. So he does have a solid chin. He's 5-3 inside the UFC. He has wins over Jake Hadley, Charles Johnson, which looks great now. That is a great win that Cody Durden has. And he beat Carlos Mata. And he also knocked JB Bays out too. So, if you want to do a little bit of MMA math, you feel me? And yeah, so me personally, I was going to go with Cody Durden in this fight. I think he can come out and get the takedowns, especially coming off that last loss. I think he'll have a more of a measured game plan. And I think he could come out here and either win strike or wrestle. As long as he just plays it safe, not safe, but plays it smart. He doesn't just dive head first into a guillotine and all that kind of stuff. And I think he can get the win for sure. Moving on to the feature bout of the night, Kurt Holobaugh versus Kanan Krzyzewski. It's a close fight. Both guys coming off losses. Elvis Brenner knocked out Kanan Krzyzewski in his last fight, but before that, he did beat Dylan Montanello on Contender Series. He beat Theory Lucas, submitted John David, and KO'd Vitor Moraes. So this guy is a killer. To be quite honest, so killer be killed fighter at this point, you could say. Because he did get knocked out in his last fight. But before that, it was all finishes. For Kurt Holobaugh, we did see him lose to Trey Ogden. He's a Trey Ogden victim, unfortunately. And, for Kurt Holobaugh, he does have good submissions off his back. He does have decent power. We saw him finish Jason Knight on The Ultimate Fighter. They were just going toe to fucking toe. And against the cage, and he just, Kurt just made him fold, and it's just a test of wills, you feel me? And Kanan Krzyzewski, Bahia, I think he is a good fighter. He's the younger fighter. He's 33 while Kurt's 37. Kanan's 6 foot while Kurt is 5'11", and Kurt has a 70-inch reach while Kanan has a 73-inch reach. So going into my pick in this fight, it is a close fight in my opinion. I think it will end by a way of finish. And I was going to go with Kanan Krzyzewski via second round knockout. I think, again, it'll be a close fight in the first round. I think they're going to come out strike. But once Kanan finds the timing, I think he can get the KO. And, we'll see what happens. Kurt Holobaugh, the Ultimate Fighter veteran, Ultimate Fighter winner. I mean, did he win it? I'm pretty sure he won. I know when he beat Jason Knight. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess he beat Austin Hubbard. Yeah. Yes, he did. Yes, he did win the Ultimate Fighter. So better is picking Kurt Holobaugh for those of y'all who are picking Kurt Holobaugh as well. But it's a close fight, man. Like I said, he has great submissions off his back. If it hits the ground, he has good power himself. He finished a banger like Jason Knight. So I do think that could most definitely got knocked out by Harney Barcelos. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, wait. Yeah, never mind. This is a 155. So I do feel what he's saying. He did get knocked out. He did get knocked out by Hayoni Barcelos back in 2018. So we know that Kurt can be KO'd. So I was going to go with Kanan. But it's still a good pick, though, from my boy, Better MMA. Y'all, again, go subscribe to my boy. Most definitely. Going to the co-main event. Steve Garcia versus Sung Woo Choi. I was going to be rather quick with this one, y'all. I was going to go with Steve Garcia, be a first-round knockout. I do think it will be a banger. They're going to come out strike. I just think Garcia is on such momentum right now. Coming off the win over Mesiquezel Costa, a dude who's a great striker. He knocked out uppercut to the body on Shiley Nordine Becca. So he did knock him out as well. And he knocked out Chase Super, and that win looks great now, especially the way like he really beat him up like that. So I was gonna go with NC and Sumo Choi just to give the respect. He almost lost to Jarno Aarons, but he did lose to Mike. Like he did win the fight though. He lost to Michael Trezano, Josh Cooleybow, and Alex Caceres before getting his last win. And I think all of that was like fighter IQ and the Caceres fight and things of that nature. But with this fight, I do think it will play out on the feet, especially being in the co-main event spot. I think the matchmakers knew what they were doing. And I think that Steve Garcia can get the knockout. And I think he will get the knockout. First round KO for Steve Garcia. And then going to this main event, Amanda Lemos versus Verna Jandiroba. Of course, the last fight, y'all, before we get to Ultimate Fighting Championship 304. Those golden gates are going to open once again, you feel me? And I cannot wait, you feel me? I can't wait for this next pay-per-view. Please join us when we do our breakdown for that. We got some stuff cooking up for that breakdown, so definitely be on the lookout for sure. Most definitely. And because that's a massive card, my favorite card almost this year outside of 300 probably. The main event, Amanda Lemos versus Verna Jandiroba. Amanda, she's a good fighter. Crazy power, one of the most powerful strawweights in UFC history. She's 8-3 inside the UFC. With the last one coming over Mackenzie Dern. She lost to Weili Zhang at the title fight at 292, but she just got wrestled and controlled. Before that, she finished Marina Rodriguez on the feet, another good striker. And she finished Michelle Watterson, who was basically retired. Unfortunately, shout out to Michelle Watterson. But yeah, with her skill, she has decent grappling. We did see her get standing ninja choked by Jessica Andrade, unfortunately. And I feel like that might have showed the hole in the grappling, not being aware of what was about to happen and stuff. And I get it. It's hard to see something like that come in, And like I said, she's really, really powerful. She's 37, 5'4" with a 65-inch reach. And I think she weighed in at 116 pounds for this fight. So had a decent camp. You could definitely say she's in shape. And her opponent, Verna Jandiroba, coming off a 3-fight win streak. She beat Lupita Godinez, a great win. Marina Rodriguez as well. She dominated her, wrestled her. So I know she didn't finish her, but it was basically a clean, flawless victory. And Verna Jandiroba, she beat Angela Hill as well. So Verna's a really good fighter. I think she's really underrated. Really, really, really underrated strawweight. And she's 36 right now herself, you feel me? But she has 13 wins via submission, never been submitted. She has 1 win via KO and 6 wins via decision. She's only lost via decision, and that's those 3 losses in her career. So she's a really good fighter, man. She's knocking on the door of a title shot. This is like number 4 versus number 5 in the division, I'm pretty sure. So she's almost there, you feel me? So literally she could get it with this fight. If she submits her, I think there'll be some fans saying, nah, let her get a title shot. And yeah, man, going to my pick in this fight, I was going to go with Verna Jandiroba. I do think she can get the victory. I think she will get the wrestling. She'll get that going early. I think she's very physically strong. Very especially in her compact frame. And I think she's the better grappler. I think all she has to do is really make it out the first, second round. As it hits 3, 4, and 5, I think she can get her down and maybe get a submission or something like that. Even looking at the size disparity, she's only 1 inch shorter, so she's not smaller than this girl like that. And she has 1 inch reach disadvantage. So I do think that Verna can get the victory. If I had to say method of victory, I will probably say, because Lemos has been submitted before, so I think she can get it. I think she can do it again. I was gonna go with Verna Jandiroba, a 4th round submission, maybe a heel hook or a rear naked choke. And yeah, I was gonna go Verna for a 4th round sub. Again, no, I gotta go to work in 30 minutes, so I want to thank y'all so much for joining me. God bless every single one of y'all. Again, be on the lookout for our UFC 304 breakdown. We're definitely gonna do that, for sure. And we're trying to do something special for that, like how we always do for our pay-per-views. And yeah, I'm gonna kick the summer off right. Well, it's by the end, but you know what I mean. Like finish the summer off right. And yeah, thank y'all so much for joining. Thank you so much to Better MMA. Go subscribe to him. Go subscribe to Baby Sharp. Most definitely. Lane, who's a great person. Always love talking to you. Great individual for sure. And yeah, y'all go subscribe to my boy Pick'em MMA. Rigo 1000%. Please go subscribe to these channels. They're super consistent and they're always posting good content. So please go sub to these boys. And I want to thank y'all again. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is episode 25 of the MMAHOLICS. And feel free to comment if you guys want to still go back and forth before the card happens tonight. And God bless y'all, and good afternoon, and good night.